Good evening, or probably where you are, good afternoon. This is the Sunday Pub. Welcome. For anyone who hasn't been here before, this is me and a random collection of my bookish friends hanging out, talking about books, talking about really whatever the hell we want to, and reading sprints. And depending on how engaged in conversation we are, there may be more or fewer reading sprints. Hello, Peter. One of these every week guests, usual suspects. Good to see you. Hi, Osa. Hi, K2. Judging from the noise, the pub is full today. Yeah, there's always a table for the regulars, don't worry. Jerome, good to see you. Ida, good to see you. Yeah, sorry about last week. I didn't manage to run the pub. Sometimes my mood gets in the way. And I'll admit my mood hasn't been great this week, but I still want to pub it up with you anyway. And we also have a guest. Hi, Jared.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you, man.
You too.
Jared is our
Ready to pump you up. Right?
Is our upcoming DM. Some of us have been having a bit of a conversation. Actually, it started 2 weeks ago at the last pub. After the pub, in the post-pub chat, Tori stayed on and Chris Navo stayed on. And we three started, I forget why, but we started talking about D&D. And Tori is learning to DM and is doing sort of a trial run for some friends, and that got me. Yeah, no, I'm always like. In fact, I had a sort of DM coaching chat with her a couple of days ago, where she was like, "I'm setting up this thing, and I'm not sure how," and we just jumped on spontaneously and had a chat about how to set up like a scenario and how to balance things so that you don't kill everyone, but it's not too easy. And that kind of thing. And I twisted Jared's arm to run a one shot for some of us. So, so we're gonna do that. Actually, it's funny. Since we've been talking about it so much, I was thinking, actually, I wouldn't mind maybe DMing something. And I got Curse of Strahd, which, for those of you who don't know, is kind of widely regarded as the best D&D adventure that's out there for 5th edition. And it's also classic. It's based on, like, from Jared and my time when we were kids, there was a module called Ravenloft, which had this impressive big bad vampire named Strahd. And
Count Strahd von Zarovich.
Exactly. Yeah. Strahd von Zarovich, and they made a much bigger sort of campaign module out of it. Not just his castle, but like the whole land around it and everything. And it's pretty good. I bought it and I've been reading it. And speaking of vampires, it's Derry.
Speaking of okay. I'll take it. Ageless. I can take it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, Thornell knows. Strahd is the land. Strahd is the ancient. Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
The original module was written by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, actually.
Yeah,
way back when, and there was there's some classic stuff there.
Yeah, the new one they got Tracy and what's her name? His wife. Laura,
yes.
Yeah, Tracy and Laura Hickman got them in as at least consultants. I don't know how much they had to do with it, but they were kind of keeping an eye on things and making sure that it sort of had the same gothic horror kind of feel as the original.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So I'm thinking about running that at some point in the future. It's I've had a kind of confidence problem, which probably sounds weird. I think I usually come across as a person with plenty of confidence, but with GMing, I've run some things and gotten like 1 or 2 sessions in and just decided everything was crap and just didn't manage to keep going. So I'd like to try running Ravenloft at some point, or Curse of Strahd at some point, and see how it goes.
Yeah, that's not unusual at all. It really isn't.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe you
It's,
need like a
good.
participation poll on like the second session or something. Go, okay, where do we need to focus going forward? And then that bit of direction maybe might.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, I am self-aware enough to know that I'm a pretty good DM, and also like other people aware enough to know people are having a good time. Like nobody's complaining or anything, and everyone seems to be having fun. They're laughing and gasping and cheering at the right points, and seems like everyone's into it. So it's really much more a me thing than it has anything to do with the people actually around the table.
Literally just had a flash of thought that went, but people don't complain. And then the other half of my brain went, oh, they do now. And maybe that's it. We're like, nobody's complaining, but maybe they should be, even though nowadays complaining is totally allowed.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting thing. Role-playing games, I think, from so many different perspectives, are super interesting to just observe and think about, because you've got kind of a social, like an unspoken, usually social contract that we're all here. Maybe we're friends. I've played with groups where we didn't know each other, but I've played with groups where we've known each other for years. But usually it's like we're in a friendly context. We're all here to have fun. Yeah. There's a clear, usually clear to most people, kind of contract between the DM, the person running the game, and everybody else. Yeah. And that contract is basically, I am running the game. I did a lot of work to entertain you. You did no work. So can you play along? Like, I might present you with a thing that isn't immediately something you think your character might do, but can you just go with it because it's what I've got prepared? It's like, I don't have a dungeon over there prepared. The dungeon I have prepared is here. Please go in this dungeon.
Yeah.
Right? And then we're all going to have a good time, because this is where all of the stuff I have prepared is. But there's interesting things that happen sometimes with players. Some player, I hate hearing it, but some players will say, my character wouldn't do that. And you're like, yeah, but
extraordinary circumstances, roll with it.
Then you're trying to go do stuff I don't have prepared.
Yeah.
Right. And I spent a lot of time getting shit ready for you guys, and you just rocked up with nothing. And can we just?
You always get that one. You always get that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been watching Critical Role recently a little bit. For anyone who doesn't know, Critical Role is one of the biggest streaming things in the world at this point. It's a bunch of actors, voice actors, who play D&D together. And they've been doing it for 10 years now. It's very big. It's very popular. It's very successful. They're earning tons of money with it. And it's a lot of fun to watch. But in the first season, one of the characters in it, one of the players actually in it, was this guy who was really stiff about the rules and was always trying to come up with like the perfect way to solve a problem without any actual fun, kind of. Right. it was really weird. Like he did at one point, he did this weird thing where he went on a shopping expedition and he bought 1,500 mirrors to build some sort of automatic magic death ray that would kill vampires. And everybody in the group and everybody watching was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, there are vampires there so that you go and fight them. That's like the adventure. And of course, in the end, it ended up just not working. And actually, in the end, they ended up throwing him out of the group because he was really annoying. But yeah.
He was operating contrary to the plan.
Well, he just wasn't playing along with the DM or anybody else in the group. You know, he would also like ignore things other people said. And at one point, somebody in the group started arguing with him, and he was like, I cast a silence spell on him. He's like, well, this is one of the guys in your group. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, one of those.
Yeah. He was really quite annoying. Hello, Brian. 72% have met the hounds. Okay, cool.
Nice.
You're taking your time though, aren't you? You've been in Toll the Hounds for a while, haven't you?
It's a big book.
I hear
it is a big book. It is a pretty damn big book. No question about that.
Really thick.
Yeah, it's extremely thick.
Johnny Wirtz as well at the moment too, isn't Brian?
Yeah, he's in that read along. I noped out on the first book, unfortunately.
Well, I'll be actually talking to Janny later today.
Oh, cool.
At 4:00
Hey,
on
Daniel.
my channel for anybody who's read the last book.
Wow, you tabbed the hell out of that.
I did, didn't I?
Damn.
So,
how awesome is it? How readily Janny's become part of our little community.
Yeah, she's great.
She and Steven Erickson remind me a lot of each other, not just because they write dense books, but because they're super available, you know? Yeah. Like Janny, like I've never seen Erickson join a stream in the chat. Well, not never, but it rarely. Yeah. But she does it pretty often. I mean, like she's been in the pub chat sometimes just because she felt like it, you know?
That's what I'm. She's like, she's one of us.
Yeah.
She's ready with a rec too. I have a separate page in my notebook for books that Janny mentions.
Right.
And every now and then I'll be like, I might just try that one.
Yeah.
0 fails at this point. I think I've read 3, maybe 4 things off Janny's suggestions, and they're always worth it. Always.
Yes, Daniel, this is true. Playing D&D as adversarially as possible, whether players infinitely trying to stymie their DM or vice versa. Yeah, there's kind of a history. Like in the 70s and the early 80s, it was pretty much what D&D was, that the DM is trying to kill the players.
Yeah.
That was almost how the game was meant to be played back then. It's certainly how the creators played it. Like Gary Gygax was an asshole to his players. All of his players ever, basically. Everything I've ever heard, he was just trying to kill his players. He was setting up traps you couldn't find, and then you fall in it and die. You know, like just really, really dumb shit too. And you can see it in some of the really old modules that he wrote. From a perspective of how we generally play today, you read it and you're like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like
the old save or die.
Does anyone think this is fun? Like, it's just crazy. Also in Curse of Strahd, the one that I want to run, there's a bit of that. Like one of the very first things that you can encounter in it is famous for TPK sessions. Total party kill. Like everybody in your group dies.
Don't.
It's kind of famous for that. And I'm like, well, isn't that a design error? Like if everybody who goes through this thing, and the purpose of this particular part of it is to level you up. Like it's meant to get you from first level to second or third level, you know, so that you go out after that and you're kind of better prepared to deal with things. But it's famous for killing everybody. Like, why would you, like, how is that good? I don't understand why anyone would want that.
I've seen
I
vanity
puzzle-
plates that have TPK on it.
Yeah.
But I do jigsaw puzzles that are called imposter puzzles because the challenge of it is the insane difficulty of it is the fun. So
But it's a different thing though. Like a really difficult puzzle, like it just means you're going to be sitting longer at your table, but you're eventually going to get it, right? You're going to figure it out. And it's difficult. You're not going to die halfway through because you didn't do it quickly enough. Right? But in D&D, if you have a group of like 5 players and they've spent a lot of time and effort getting into their characters, creating characters, and then in the first session, you kill all of the characters.
So, I mean, just because I've never actually played D&D, when that happens, because clearly it's a thing, do you go, shall we try again next week and just start over?
Yeah,
I mean,
roll new characters. There you go.
Or do then?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like, yeah, there's a few different things you could do. Like, first of all, I would just try and avoid killing the characters in the first session because nobody enjoys that. Like, that's not fun. And if it happened that everybody died and it was kind of unavoidable, I would probably say, yeah, okay, next session, let's start over. But then I would start them somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I would like avoid that thing that they already know and try and come up with something that they don't know. So it's a sort of a fresh experience. But
yeah, I once had one time where one character managed to get out and survive. And so he went and rounded up a new party.
Right.
Yeah. And that was part of the story. And they ended up kicking ass. So it was good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are ways to deal with it, but usually I think if characters die too early, like I said, you've got players who are here to have a good time. They put some energy into creating characters that they're invested in.
Yeah.
And then in the first or second session, you say, that character you spent so much time on and you're invested in? Sorry, he's gone, dead. I'm going to tear up your character sheet now. We're going to start over. Like, it just doesn't feel good. It's not fun. Fair. And yes, Peter, the guy I was talking about in Critical Role, yes, he flirted in character in a very inappropriate way with one of the other members' wives, like players, actual married players, during one episode. He was just a bit of an ass. And not only that, but the wife that he flirted with was the wife of the DM.
Oh.
It's just like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah. He's got some dude has some problems, I think. Reaper's Gale 2 Grand Conspiracy to Tell the Ouch.
There you go, Brian. I like
seems like
you have
holiday,
very
Brian.
conversation right now, is what I'm saying. There's processing happening.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there's.
Finished Lathe of Heaven this morning. I'm reading it. I'm actually starting it probably tonight during a reading sprint. I'm very curious. Everybody seems to be pretty positive on it. So looking forward to it.
It's one of the ones I haven't. But
yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, it's the check in the description below for the Fireside Discord link. That's the Discord that I run with Joanna and Josh from Red Fury Books. And we have a Fireside Book Club where every quarter we let you pick a book that we 3 or 4, Evie also, because she's our wonderful mod. The 4 of us read that book and invite everybody to read along with us. And then we have a discussion stream about it. So it should be maybe a more positive discussion stream than the last one we had.
A fabulous discussion stream yesterday with the very lovely Joanna and friend of the channel, David, and Tori.
Discussing what?
Health.
Oh, right. And that's right.
Really good. It was like a really good discussion. It was great.
Cool.
Highly enjoyed.
Cool.
Because there were some really lovely points made. just in general.
Yeah, exactly. This happens in D&D sometimes. The DM, I mean, one side of it,
players.
One side of it is you can never predict what your players are going to do, right? And there's sort of a religious avoidance of what everyone calls railroading.
Yeah.
Which is like saying, here are the tracks and you have to get on them and go this way, players. You can't go that way. You can't go that way. You have to go this way. Now,
you did just finish telling me that was what was expected of your players.
Well, I don't have a religious avoidance of railroading. I think railroading is extremely appropriate and exactly the right thing to do in certain places. Right? And the main place is at the beginning. At the beginning, I don't want to fuck around with it could be this, it could be that. You guys have 1,000 options and go explore whatever the hell you want. I have stuff prepared.
Yeah.
And there's a story over here. There isn't a story that way. Or that way. Like the story is over here. So I'm gonna push you in this direction and ask you to just go with it until we get to a point where you have 1,000 options in the story.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And all this depends on whether it's a sandbox campaign or a story-based campaign. You know, you get different kind of campaigns that set up different kind of things.
Exactly. And it also depends on how comfortable a DM is with improvisation. Like I've run numerous adventures where I didn't have almost any prep at all.
Yeah.
And I just threw weird things at the players until they grabbed one. And then I was like, okay, now I have to make up shit about that.
Okay.
And we went that way, you know, and that gives it a feeling of being very open, but it also can lead to a whole bunch of things not connecting because I'm improvising, making stuff up as I go, you know? So yeah, you can create an entire city with super detailed stuff and your players just don't go in it. Which to me generally means that you have more uncooperative than usual players.
Yeah, that's time to get a new bunch of players.
Yeah, and I mean, I would always like, okay, guys, time out. Look, I've got a whole bunch of stuff ready for you that's really fun and exciting in the city. Please go to the city and interact with it. It'll be worth it. If you want to go over here, I have a whole bunch of boring stuff that I haven't prepared.
Yeah.
Your choice, you know? And then probably find a new group of players. Yeah, Rogue, I wouldn't do it either. I wouldn't do it either. I found I had a really hard time getting into Wars of Light and Shadow. I read the first book. I think I read about 3/4 of it and stopped.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't grab me. I didn't.
For everyone.
I didn't get pulled in. Yeah,
it's not going to grab everyone. Nope.
Yeah.
The joy of reading.
Jerome is reading nothing but horror this month.
Ooh, committed to the season. I appreciate it.
Spooky month. All right. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I've got a couple of what was it I was looking at the other day? Salem's Lot that I still haven't read.
I haven't read that one.
Between Two Fires, which is meant to be sort of a medieval horror thing that quite a few people have read, but I've got it on my shelf. I've also got Umpire of the Empire or whatever it's called. Vampire of the Umpire. Umpire of the...
I'm just rereading it because the third one comes out early next month. And I tried to pace myself. I really did. I tried to pace myself so that I would finish as the next book released, and I
but you didn't.
I'm like, I need the next book.
Yeah.
So, I really enjoy them. They're so great. And
like horror is not my thing at all. So
it's not really my thing. It's not really my thing, but every now I've read a few horror things and enjoyed them. I thought they were pretty cool. But
I don't like gruesome. I don't like gore. I'm not a fan of gore.
Yeah.
But when something gets in people's heads, I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. So Stephen King usually works really well for me because a lot of his horror is
generally not so gory. It's more psychological.
But yeah, I don't find Empire horrific as such.
Yeah.
I decided a couple of weeks ago what it is a cross between Blade and the Three Musketeers with all of the cursing.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if your vampires are cool, it's not horror.
No. Right.
Like if your vampires are cool and sexy and all that sort of stuff, then it's not horror.
It's fantasy or romance or whatever.
Yeah.
The half they're very cool, but the vampires, they're not cool. They're monsters, like properly monsters. And he's developed a system where vampirism is random, and it will depend on how long a victim has been dead when they become vampires, as to how much intelligence they have. So they go to highborn vampires who turn pretty much immediately, so they stay young and they stay looking like they were when they died, down to the wretched who have begun decomposing and have no brain matter left and are basically the shambling kind of zombie-like vampires.
Right.
But all of them want to kill you, and all of them want to kill you and drink all of your blood.
Right.
So they're all various levels of, I don't want them to find me. So see, I say that, and I think that should seem horrifying, but I'm totally cool to go with it because it's vampires. It's a monster I'm used to.
Right.
It's familiar.
I've been thinking about it a lot because this adventure I want to run, Curse of Strahd, is not only but primarily about a really, 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 really old vampire, and they've actually got a system kind of baked in for how he behaves as the players progress through the story.
Ooh,
and at the beginning, he's very much in control. Like the players are lost and don't know what's going on and not nearly powerful enough to pose any kind of threat. And as they go through, they start changing things in his world and equipping themselves better and becoming more powerful. And he goes from like Gentleman Strahd to Mage Strahd to Monster Strahd, and becomes more and more kind of horrific and threatening and less in control as the adventure goes on.
That I'm really impressed. I'm on the third time I've read Christoph's Vampires, and he's done something else with it too, where they're not all sort of late teens, early 20s, beautiful. Some of them turned as children or pre-adolescents. Some of them turned as middle-aged people who aren't beautiful because they've lived in this pre-industrial society. But that's how you stay. And so there's this very wide range of potentially monstrous, horrifying opposition. And I don't know, there's just something, I haven't encountered that with vampires before. So while vampires as a thing I'm familiar with, I really enjoy what Christoph's done with the concept. And it feels, I don't know, it feels great to be like, yeah, this feels like this would be how it worked.
Yeah.
And the cursing is inventive because, Australian.
I can totally get behind a book that has good cursing. I have no problem with that. And I liked his idea. Like I only have heard various things about the books. I haven't read them, but I liked the idea of somehow the vampires have managed to remove daytime.
That's the mystery. Nobody
from the
knows
world.
Yeah.
But I was just like, yeah, okay, so it's Vampire's Paradise. That makes sense.
And the whole arc of it is to figure that out and fix it. Basically.
Yeah.
And we can
speaking of Vampire's Paradise, it's Ben.
Hi.
That's quite a segue.
I just throw in any segue that is appropriate at the moment. Good to see you, Ben.
Hello. Oh, it's been quite busy recently. Haven't even put out videos this whole summer, but it's a rainy day here on the East Coast, and so not doing much right now. It's a perfect time to join.
Yeah.
Hello.
Cool.
Great to see you.
I'm sorry if you already went through this, but I always love knowing what people are reading.
We
What's
haven't
everyone in the middle of.
We haven't gone through that.
Yeah.
Or I mentioned that I am starting The Lathe of Heaven because it's
Ooh.
our Fireside Book Club book of the quarter.
Nice.
And I'm actually behind because we sort of officially started at the beginning of the month, and some people like Joanna have already finished it, but I'm starting that this evening. What's everybody else reading?
Ooh, that's exciting. I've only read The Wizard of Earthsea from Le Guin, but found it really beautiful, and I want to read everything she's written.
Most of her stuff, like, I won't say all because I'm not familiar with everything, but from what I know, she wrote all of the Earthsea books, and most of everything else she wrote is science fiction. So this is science fiction, and then I've read the World for World is Forest, which was good. Not great, but good. She's also got The Dispossessed, Left Hand of Darkness, Lathe of Heaven. They're all science fiction. Yeah, and it's also refreshingly thin.
Yeah.
So what's everyone else reading?
I'm reading Desolation Called Peace.
Okay.
1819. This is the second book in the duology.
I want to read those. I've got the first
space
one on the
opera,
shelf.
and it's fantastic. I'm really enjoying this a lot.
I've heard that.
If you like space opera, you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
It hits all the right space opera buttons, and it's,
okay.
And it's very, very, very literate, so it's very good.
What's the first one called? A Memory Called Empire?
A Memory Called Empire.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great titles.
Yeah, no, I will buy a book just because it has a title that sounds like someone thought about it longer than 5 minutes. There's so many books. I'm just like,
titles aren't.
Robin Hobb's titles are garbage. Like all of her titles are garbage. You can make a random title generator, and the only things it's got in it are assassin and fool. And then 10 other words, and you can just spin the wheel, and you've got a Robin Hobb title.
Yeah, it is a shame. I agree in terms of the title enhancing the read. I especially love it when the authors figure out a way to highlight the title towards the end of the book in a way where it feels like everything's come full circle, kind of
organic.
I don't know if anyone else has read the Vorkoskin saga. Yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, I love that. I don't know if anyone has read A Brightness Long Ago by GGK or the Vorkoskin saga by Bujold.
Yeah. But Vorkoskin I've read.
Have you gotten all the way into Mirror Dance? Like that's one of the
mid-series
books.
I think I read, I had a very brief period where I was like, Vorkoskin is super cool. And I read 5 of them, I think, in like 2 weeks. And then stopped. And I haven't read any more.
You got to keep going because those middle to late series books are just spectacular. But like books like that where it's like Mirror Dance, like you think you know why she titled that book from early on in the book, and it makes sense. And then it's like, ooh, this title has real specific significance in this story and world, and it's towards the end that happens, and it's just this super impactful thing. Same with A Brightness Long Ago for GGK. I just love when authors do that.
Satisfying, isn't it? You're like, yeah. I've had some really good luck in the last couple of weeks. I've reread Vampires, and I have I can't say I discovered it. I listened to a recommendation from Carlos a few weeks ago and have read the first 2 books now in the Lady Astronaut series, alternate history science fiction, where a meteor pretty much wipes out a lot of America in 1953. And so from there, history diverges. And just fantastic in terms of, okay, humanity now has to leave Earth. Global warming isn't a theory. It's happening because this meteor has changed everything. And we have to move. And all of those social resistances from the 50s are there. There's racism, there's sexism, there's anti-Semitism, there's all of these bigotries that want to say, we're not letting that happen. With humanity's general, can we fix Earth? This, and the scientists are going, no, we need to go.
We need a new Earth.
I enjoyed that. It was like, oh, I love this. And it was exciting.
Cool.
And I'm rereading Dresden. So,
oh yeah, what book? I am too right now because 12 Months is coming out in January, right? So yeah, I'm getting primed again get back into Dresden. Which book are you doing?
I literally finished Summer Night last night, so today we'll be going into Skin Game.
Oh, you're just skipping around. Yeah, me too.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure Skin Game's next. No, Death Masks. Death Masks.
Oh yeah, Skin Game's 15.
Same
15.
villain.
Yeah. Oh, you're going like a full reread. Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
I struggle with the concept of going. I'm just going to read these ones because I'm like, no, a reread is a reread. And I'm picking up on stuff. I'm like, hang on, these things that were mentioned in book 3, we still haven't had that resolved.
Yeah, and Jim's great with that. Oh yeah, there's so much reread value. So much reread value, but I just am right in the middle of Small Favor. I decided not to go all the way back, but just maybe restarting it. I did Proven Guilty a little while ago, and it was nice on a reread. You can skip books that you don't love as much, since I'm not as big a fan of White Knight, and so I was like, yeah, let me just skip that one since I've already done it a couple times. And
yeah,
so,
once you know, you're like, oh, it's okay, I'm just refreshing the memory for 12 months, but yeah, I'm struck by how the quality really has visibly improved as you, and it happens every time I read Dresden. I start and go, wow, these early books really were they're
a bit flat. Yeah.
You just did Summer Night. Like that has one of my least favorite extended action sequences in the whole series. It's the Walmart plant monster because it goes on a really long time. It doesn't have much extra impact beyond just being like an action scene in that book.
Yeah.
And I think he just got so much better at making impactful action sequences like that had consequences. Yeah.
Really, really did. And there's moments in even, the generally accepted weakest in Full Moon. There are moments in it of the brilliance that will shine later, which is why everyone's like, no, keep going. It's worth it. Because you get those flashes. You're like, oh, no, there's something here. But it's really telling. Once you've gone to where it is now.
He was a young new author when he was doing those books. It's easy to forget, like when someone's been established for so long and it's a famous series and it's so popular, and then someone tries those first few books and you're like, wait, what's the big deal? It's like he was this young upstart, nothing upstart, right out of his creative writing program in college. And
he needed practice.
Yeah.
And just to know how good it gets, it just really highlights what was missing in those earlier books. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's sadness inducing in me because it's really difficult to get people to get past those early entries. And I'm like, no, really is worth keeping going.
Yeah.
What are you reading, Ben?
So in the middle of Small Favor on audio, and then I don't have it with me, but I have a stand-in. But the next book, wrong book. Next book in this kind of Renaissance trilogy, I've already done Brightness Long Ago and All the Seas of the World, which are two of my favorite books of all time. So I am in the middle of, or towards the beginning of Children of Earth and Sky, which is the third one chronologically in these recent kind of Renaissance Italy, like, what do you call it, the Balkans area. Like he spends a lot of time in kind of his version of Italy and in the like Croatia area in Children of Earth and Sky.
Okay.
But so good. These are some of my favorite books ever. It's just the elegance of the writing, the humane themes, engaging characters and stories, and just in every way I find them compelling. They're just one after the next. He's been blowing me away with his writing. So
I keep having the urge to get back to him. I ages ago, when he hadn't written that much, I read the Fiannavar Tapestry. I think I read Isabel and Tigana. And maybe that was all he had written at that point. I mean, this is like decades ago. And I liked his stuff, but everyone's been raving so much and so often about him lately. I keep thinking, yeah, there's a lot more.
Yeah, you should see what his late career stuff is like. Like Brightness Long Ago is the right starting point. It's like the earliest chronologically of the three recent Renaissance books. It's also like was his shortest book until the recent release of Written on the Dark. So it's fairly short, and it's just, I think it's a masterpiece. Like it's a book that just is unbelievable, perfect in every way, not a single flaw for me in that whole thing. And he's doing something different, I think, than some of his earlier career books that I read, like the Sarantine Mosaic and Lions, Valorsan, and Song for Our Boat. Haven't read Tigana yet, but I think that'll be an interesting, because you got exposed to his early career stuff. To do one of his more recent novels, see what he's doing, and I think you'll find it reads very differently in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I know that the stuff that everybody's really in love with is very different. Like Fiannavar is basically it's kind of Narnia 15 years later kind of thing. It's like What If Narnia, but university students.
But crossed with the Rings sort of style.
Yeah.
With some Celtic.
Yeah, but like it's just older kids going through.
That sounds right up my alley. It sounds so interesting to me.
And it's good, but it's like totally different than his more historical ish
list of tropey fantasy.
Yeah. It's super tropey. Yeah.
And they're all done really well. And you can't really argue. There's a comfort to that. They're easy reads. There's an Arthurian thread that goes through it. There's Celtic mythology that goes through it, where you've got the warrior goddesses. You've got just so much kind of familiar territory where you just feel like you know this. It feels safe. It feels just predictable, which isn't always bad. And it's just a comfort read.
None of it is surprising, but it is like the earliest fantasy I read was Narnia and Lord of the Rings. So this was then when I was a teenager or in my early 20s, I read Fiannavar. I was like, oh yeah, I'm familiar with all of this, so
it's not a challenge to a fantasy reader, and some of it is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I started with Tigana as well, and I'll be reading A Song for Our Bone in a month. I'm looking forward to that.
You're in for a treat.
Yeah, I can't wait.
A treat with it.
Yeah, exactly. Like oops, I think I just accidentally banned Ron.
Oops. Oh no.
Yeah. I clicked the wrong thing. I was trying to put his message up. He was saying that Kay was also a young first-time author when he wrote Fiannavar.
Can we really say that? I mean, he'd helped put together the Silmarillion, and he'd done a lot of work on that
Had he already at that point? At the time he wrote Fiannavar?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was his first individually published. This is me.
Right.
This is my writing.
Yeah.
But I think he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He just hadn't found his style yet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously his much more historical, almost no actual magic or anything. That's kind of his shtick now.
Yeah.
So
he put all the magic in Fiannavar and went, okay, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. More than enough magic in Fiannavar.
Yeah, I don't need to do that anymore.
I'm just trying to find anything where I can unblock. I'll have to figure it out later. Sorry, Ron.
Yeah. Get hold of one of us and we can hook you up with Matt. He can bring you back.
Yeah, exactly. I did not mean to do that, obviously. Oops.
We like you, Ron. I promise.
Oh, well. Yeah. No, it's totally not personal. I'm just clumsy. Yeah. Yeah, I know the feeling, Jerome.
Mm-hmm.
I have no space on my schedule or my shelves for buying more. I've even got to the point where I'm like, I'm actually not going to impulse buy anymore because the stack where I put stuff because they don't fit my shelf is also kind of too tall now. So if I keep piling things on it, it's going to collapse. So yeah. What's that?
When are your shelves happening?
Yeah, I need to organize with my friend Christian, who's really good at building stuff. Come over and help me and figure out where the shelves that are there right now go, and so on and so forth. But
that sounds like fun. That's
yeah, maybe. If we drink a lot of beer.
I rearrange the furniture in my house on a whim. Often.
Yeah.
So that just sounds like fun to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think there were a lot of interesting ideas in Tigana.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cool. I liked it a lot.
The idea of cultural erasure and rebelling against an oppressive regime and all of that. I remember that, but I didn't actually remember the story very much. Like it didn't really leave much of an impression on me in that sense.
A lot of magic in that one too.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was a point where he was writing more typical, I guess, fantasy. And then he went off and did his historical fiction, but it's not actually historical fiction because there are two moons thing.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's historical fiction. Like everyone can see it's historical fiction.
But clearly we're okay with it. We're like, actually, we like
it. It's like you don't have to keep saying it's not historical fiction. I mean,
the thing is, the fact of it being a tiny bit fantasy means that like the snobby literary community at large just will not pay the slightest bit attention to him. He could be pumping out masterpiece after masterpiece for decades, and he's a fantasy writer. It's ridiculous. Like I just deplore the snobbishness of the literary fiction community.
Some contemporary literary fiction, and you're like, this is just dull. It's just dull. This is your spoonful of medicine with no sugar. It's like, can I get some sugar?
Yeah, the problem with the wording, the words we use for those things is literary makes something sound qualitatively better.
Yeah.
And like saying literary fiction, it's just a genre category.
Yeah.
There is a lot of really good literary fiction, but a lot of it is dull as dishwater. And there's a lot of good fantasy, and some of it is dull as dishwater as well. You know, it's just a box to put things in for marketing.
I wish I could go back to my college age self and just give myself a few slaps about my own literary snobbishness, because no one was making fun of me for reading and loving Harry Potter growing up, but like I somehow got it into my head that as I went to college and was trying to be a serious intellectual and well read and cultured, that I'd move on from fantasy and I try to read literary fiction and classics and interestingly enough, I worked for this nonprofit one summer on my college campus, and we were mentoring high schoolers from underprivileged backgrounds. And one of the things we did, which was so great, was we took them to a Barnes & Noble, and everyone got to buy a book. And a lot of these kids, aren't big readers or never read really in their free time at all. And so it was always so fun to like be taking them to Barnes & Noble, be like helping them choose and pick. And of course, like, where did I take like some of the students that I was close to? I took them to the fantasy and sci-fi area, and like I got one, Ender's Game, and that ended up being like a big hit for them. And
awesome. It's a great book.
As staff of this program, we were also allowed to buy a free book. And of course, for myself, I went to the literary shelves and was like, okay, what's a new release in literary fiction? Let me just grab one. And it ended up being such a quick DNF. It was so dull and lifeless and unmagical. And
I did exactly the same thing, Ben. When I got to university, I was like, okay, I'm now in like English literature classes, and I'm meant to read better books. And I ended up reading a lot of really good stuff. Like I became a huge Paul Auster fan, and I read everything he ever wrote. I became a huge Peter Carey fan and a Haruki Murakami fan, and read everything they ever wrote. But I just stopped reading genre fiction, no science fiction, no fantasy, for years until I was out of university. And then I was like, I kind of miss all those stories in space and stories with magic, and why did I stop reading those? And I went back to it. I had more luck maybe than you in literary fiction. I found a lot of really good stuff.
I read some great ones too. I read some Nobel Prize winners that amazed me, like Snow by Orhan Pamuk, or J.M. Coetzee, some of his books, and Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann is this beast of a classic that was really, really compelling in a lot of ways. And so
Thomas
I
Mann
had some
is
success.
hardcore.
Oh yeah. I was lucky enough. I took a literature class that was about German literature, but it was taught in English at my college. And his Dr. Faustus, which is another beast of a novel, was one of the books in that class. But so that I had some luck, but I could have done both. I could have been expanding my intellectual horizons with really intense litfic and classic, and still been exploring for reading just purely for fun and engagement and connecting to something a little bit more transcendent. And
technically, don't tell any of the literature snobs, but Dr. Faustus is fantasy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Tons of litfic is fantasy, but but they'll hide it by calling it magical realism or mythical or allegorical, like Master and Margarita. That's a fantasy book, but it's considered like a literary classic.
That's funny, Rogue. I for reading novels, I moved, like when I was in university, I moved completely to literary fiction, but I continued to read comics avidly. So somehow they were acceptable, and somehow my brain decided that science fiction and fantasy wasn't. I don't know. My brain isn't so good.
If you're like a teenager and you're trying to you're growing up and you're going to college, I turn to things like all of the different best novels of human history of the 20th century, of I looked at all these different lists that were available from all different organizations, and I think from things like that, also from what English teachers assign generally, but you get this message of what's considered the heavy hitting value, worthwhile stuff. It's like the James Joyce, the what else, the Faulkner stuff, that's the heavy hitting.
It took me so long to be able to say to anyone that asks, James Joyce is garbage, and I don't care what anybody says. I've read Finnegan's Wake, I've read Ulysses, and it's garbage. He was experimenting up his own ass. It is not valuable in any way.
I think what it is that there is a barrier to entry to the classics and to highbrow books, in that you need to have a reasonable level of education to find value in them. There isn't a barrier to entry in SFF. If you can read these stories. You will get out of them as much as some of these highbrow, valuable, supposedly, books. But you don't have to. We're not going to give you a test on it later. And so because there is no barrier to entry, it isn't deemed to have value. And like anything, if it's free, it must be rubbish. So if you can get into it easily, it can't be valuable.
Yeah.
And, it's
I had the advantage of going to college when I was already an adult, because I went to night school much later on in life, after I got married, after I had a kid, after I went in the Air Force. So I realized right away that what they were assigning me wasn't any better than what I was already reading. Because I was reading Donaldson, and I was reading some pretty damn good books.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, okay, this is just like you said earlier. It's just different, just another category. And I guess I was fortunate in that way. I didn't have that, because I know what you're saying, Ben. That's definitely a thing. When you're a kid coming out of high school and you're going into college, and you want to all of a sudden be like, oh, this is what you want to be an adult, and so you think you're given adult fiction, so you want to be that adult.
And you're being told by the authority figures that are your teachers, this is what's good. This is truly valuable literature. And I mean, some of it, no question. I learned to love Faulkner in university classes and high school classes. I never would have picked up Faulkner myself. And I started reading Sound and the Fury, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Oh my God, this is weird as damn. This is weird shit. But then I was like, it's weird shit. That's actually kind of cool. And I started getting into it and started really seeing the value of it. And your brain has to do a little more work than some books, but I really ended up enjoying Faulkner a lot.
Yeah, I like a lot of classics.
But a lot of it, like they gave me Catcher in the Rye, and I read that, and I was like, what a load of pretentious, depressing bullshit. Like, why does anyone think that this is a really valuable novel? Fuck this guy. He can go to hell.
Who didn't go to university, I will say that finding a community that has gone to university has given me the language I lacked in being able to describe the things I love about fantasy. And the lack of discourse around fantasy books does it a disservice, because you can discuss these books with that level of insight and examination, and some of them can absolutely withstand that examination and go, yes, this is doing important things about societal themes, and it's about the nature of humanity, and all of these much more explored areas of literature. And it just doesn't get that focus at all. So finding BookTube and having people around me that use the terms I've never had words for, that I'm like, yes, that's what I've been trying to put into words. That's how I've learned. I needed to learn how to say that because I didn't go to university. I didn't get taught how to frame my thoughts around a book or about it.
Whenever I get in a stream with Dr. Chase, Dr. Fantasy, I always just like, he says something, blah, 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 blah. And then somebody asks me and I'm like, what he said.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no, that it is great to hear Dr. Chase or Dr.
much better than I could have.
To hear AP break down, like it really does bring that level of academic intellectual study to fan, and you can see it's just as legitimate as studying any literature. Yeah. But the flip side of it, Derry, though, is that I think I was taught through school and university that literature was always there to be analyzed, and it wasn't there to just gush about your emotional reaction or your experience. Like being in the fantasy community has taught me almost the opposite of that. It's okay just to not analyze something on kind of deeper literary levels, but just to talk about how it, how much of a great time it was, and reading it for fun as a hobby.
Yeah.
I love the especially the series that AP has done where he takes like the first page and he does a deep reading and just breaks them down. Because I mean, like, none of it surprises me, but I'm so not in the habit of thinking about books that way. I do not analyze books when I read them in that way at all. Every now and then I might stop in a particular section that is remarkably well written. The prose just jumps out at me and I might go over it a bit more detailed. But like his series where he's breaking down the first pages in detail, I'm just like, it's given me so much respect for authors. Like, oh yeah, Jesus, George R. R. Martin was doing, like, he did the first page of A Song of Fire, Ice and Fire, Song of Ice and Fire. The first page of Clash of Kings, where they're in the forest and they find the first
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah. And just breaking down that, which to me, like the way I remember it, was just a relatively descriptive.
It was just three guys,
bit of character going on and whatever. But he breaks it down, and there's all this foreshadowing that I didn't really consciously think about, and
Eric, and
it's just like
really good. Same with his. I remember watching the one he did for that and the Blade itself, and I remember, like not being too into like the very first scene of the Blade itself. It's like I felt like I was a little like clunky, like action-y scene to start, and then it's like just mini little prologue to the actual story. But like seeing how he broke it down line by line and all this richness in terms of the foreshadowing, like you're saying, like you can do that with so much SFF, and the craft is there with these authors, and I think in a lot of ways they have to be more masterful, like to convince you to suspend your disbelief and to they can't just rely on the world building of like, oh, it's our current world.
If you're doing all the writing that anybody else is, like characters and descriptions and all of that, and you're creating an entire world.
So you've got to get the right atmosphere.
If you're getting a really good book out of that, you are doing more really good writing than a literary fiction author is. Because you have so much more work you have to do.
So much more. What I found with rereading, because obviously I've had to do that for so many years, is there are books that I can read and go, that was fun. And I have no impulse whatsoever to pick it up again. But the ones that I do pick up again, I will frequently will read more than just that second time. I'll continue to reread until I feel like I've got everything out of it. I'm like, okay, I feel like everything that was in there, I managed to strain through my holy brain and kept all of the things that had value. So books that I continue to read and I continue to get things from are just, they boggle my mind, because I'm like, how can AP read this and in one read do what it takes me 6 reads to do by picking out all of these amazing details? But it takes me 6 reads to go through and go, okay, I instinctively kind of recognized that there was more here, but I couldn't have told you what it was until now.
Yeah, you unconsciously process it.
Well, clearly.
Yeah.
But there's again, it comes back to being able to recognize what it is. And AP has the education and the learning, and he's had all of the discussions with all of the other incredibly clever people, and has learned what to be looking for, and has learned how to be putting particular lenses on to read stuff. And that's only something I've learned since having to relearn how to take in new books, where before I just took it for granted that my brain would pick up on the things. I've had to train my brain to do it. And there's incredible value in learning how to apply a lens and go, oh, actually, if I look at it from this perspective, this is much better than I initially thought. Or go, actually, if I try and be even a little bit discerning, this is shit.
Speaking of much better than you originally thought.
Evie, I was going to go the opposite way. This is actually shit. So
never.
That was a great segue.
Never.
That worked great.
How
you doing, Evie?
I'm good.
Good to
I am
see you.
just late. Whoopsie daisy.
That's okay. The pub is open when it's open, and you can come and go anytime.
Until we're all kicked out.
Yeah.
Then it's not open anymore. Yes.
Exactly. How's George?
She is good. She's somewhere. I think she's under
still in her little onesie.
Yes, she is. So
That's
she's
so cute.
walking around. She's not like army crawling throughout the house. She's actually walking in it, so which is great.
Okay, Fitz would be terrifying in a onesie. Just gonna say.
Fitz, I don't think she would put up with that. She doesn't handle being handled very well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they'd have to probably use it like a dog-sized one for her.
And yeah, I'd need a second person to get her into it. That would never happen. I can't even hold her still. Like, if she gets her claws cut or not is entirely her choice.
Oh yeah.
Like, if she does not cooperate, I can't do it, because she will dislocate her own shoulder before she will let me clip one of her claws. Like, I just have to let go of her paw, like she'll hurt herself.
Dislocating a shoulder is the first option rather than disemboweling you.
Well, she can't really do that, because I usually hold her like she's on her back. And I'm holding, like, if I hold her down with one hand and hold her paw with the other, everything's fine. But I can't clip her claws like that. I have to reach over and get the clipper. Yeah, and by the time I come back, she's like, "Rah!" And no, she has to be in a very good mood.
So, learning from experience, get the clipper first, and then put the cat underneath your arm, and lift the front legs up so that they only have the back legs to like move around.
Yeah, I can try.
So,
all I can imagine if I did that is her back legs eviscerating my back. Like,
she's got a long enough body, I think, to
she's really big. I keep forgetting how big she is, but yeah, she's
tried
large.
the towel method or whatever? Just
like wrap her up. Yeah. I might have to try that at some point. That's how I used to have to bathe my cat. I had a cat that was an outdoor cat and got filthy all the time. And if I wanted to bathe him, I just have to throw a towel over him and wrap him up in the towel and then throw him in the bath and soak the towel.
Yep.
And squirt soap into the towel and then rub it around and then just sort of hold them in the bath while I sprayed water, and then they just run around the flat completely wet.
Soaking everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. And usually end up with big, actually I've got one right there. Yeah.
I'm wondering though if the under the arm thing might work if you have the body of Fitz behind a chair, so that there's an actual barrier between her back legs and your back. That might do it.
I've actually been thinking of just getting some Valium.
Just
crush some Valium up in her food and wait until she falls over, and then I can clip her claws, I can brush her, everything I need to do. Clean her ears. Although actually, strangely, she's super patient when I clean her ears. She never freaks out when I clean her ears. She likes it.
They love it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah.
Somehow she doesn't mind that at all.
For all you people with pets, do you ever imagine you having like wit conversations like from Robin Hobb? Like I feel like if I had a cat, if I had a cat, I would always be imagining that.
I have imaginary conversations. Well, I imagine my animals' responses, so I respond as if they were responding. Just because I'm like
just tell you what they're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, once you know your pets enough, like just based on the look or like their mood or whatever, pretty much what they're trying to tell you.
Fitz has completely different voices depending on what she wants.
Yeah,
like I know exactly when she's complaining about I need to clean her box, or she wants food, or every now and then she'll yell at me, and I'm like, I have no idea what the problem is, but usually it's clear.
I read out loud to my dog, and she responds.
Well, that's what a lot of there are some programs, maybe Jared around your area as well, maybe at your library, but like they basically have dogs set up to have like little kids read to them to inspire confidence with kids reading.
Oh, really?
It's really adorable.
Cute.
That is gorgeous.
Ida, no, usually you don't need to bathe the cat. My cat, the one I was talking about that I used to throw in the shower, Bonsai was a crazy outdoor cat that loved crawling under cars and ended up with oil and stuff on his back, and cats can't really get to their back. So I don't ever bathe Fitz.
And you shouldn't really ever
spends most of her day
with rescue cats, because they're usually so flea ridden that it's the only way to kill all the fleas. And there's even a trick to that, in that if you do have to ever encounter that, you put a ring of dish soap around their necks before you start, because then the fleas don't just go to their face.
Go to the head, yeah. They
can't get there, so they will drown.
Yeah.
But bathing
generally you don't need to bathe cats. No.
Which is
a lot of people do with cats that totally don't need it, and it's not good. It's not good for their skin. It's not like it's a bad thing.
I have had George for 15 years now, and I've bathed her once, and it was when she was a kitten, and we were breeding her in from outside because she was an outdoor cat until she was approximately 6 weeks old, and then we brought her inside, and that's the only bath she's ever had.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, dogs are different. Dogs are idiots, and they don't groom themselves.
Oh, they are idiots. They really are.
And they love rolling in stuff they really shouldn't roll in.
Oh, my ex had a German Shepherd, and he was a long-haired Shepherd, and he was beautiful, and I loved him, and I grieved him like there's just no words for when he finally left us. But we also used to have a house that came into the ground. So our bathroom window was a big sash window, and it was at ground level. And it was brilliant because we could put the dog in the bath, and he would tolerate having a bath. but we didn't have to bother about drying him. We could just open the window, go,
Push
okay,
him outside.
and the soaking wet dog would go outside to shake and then, run around like a lunatic. And that was great.
Yeah.
Unless the lawns had just been mowed. That was bad. We never did that again.
Yeah, I'm actually very grateful that I don't have to bathe Fitz, because Fitz is long hair, and I can't even imagine what a long hair, 7 kilo, 15-pound cat would be like when completely wet. Yeah.
Because damp hair is
yeah,
even clean.
Not pleasant. What are you reading, Evie?
So I'm reading Savage Blooms by S.T. Gibson. I am I'm very conflicted on it. There's nothing that I am overwhelmingly positive about, but there's nothing I'm overwhelmingly negative about. It is the most 3-star book so far.
Not so bad, not so good.
Exactly.
What I've never heard of it. What kind of book is it?
It literally came out on Tuesday. It allegedly, according to the author, this is supposed to be a Wuthering Heights inspired gothic dark fantasy romance. Okay. I do not see any of the Wuthering Heights other than its gothic setting and set in the moors. That's
okay. It. All right.
That's annoying. I hate when books are wrecked like that.
Especially by the author. It's like you set the wrong expectation there, bucko.
Yeah. That's mean.
Yeah, just it's got moors is not quite enough.
Yeah. But I am also reading, I'm doing like one chapter a day of Somebody is Walking on Your Grave by Mariana Enriquez. It's a nonfiction memoir.
Okay.
First chapter / essay, very Mary Shelley coded. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Okay.
If you've read Marianne Enriquez's stories or Our Share of Night,
haven't.
You know that she gets weird, and I'm not surprised that her memoir is just as weird, if not weirder.
Well, it'd have to be.
Okay.
Cool.
Good to know.
Have you started our book club book?
I have. So I am in the middle of chapter 5.
Leave it. Okay, I'm actually starting it tonight at some point when we do a sprint. Fitz.
What book?
Stop it.
Lathe of Heaven.
Lathe of Heaven.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. Yeah. This is one of the less offensive sci-fi masterworks covers. Most of them are flaming garbage.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, props, Sci-Fi Masterworks, if you're out there watching.
Good job.
Sure nobody is. It's excellent that they're keeping these older Sci-Fi Masters works in print. I love that.
Yeah.
It's great.
And they're probably working on like this kind of budget.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand, but there are ways to do a good cover with a low budget. And this isn't the way.
No. It's pretty
Can I throw a couple covers at you just because I think they're interesting in their own ways? What do you think of this stained glass window?
I like those a lot.
Unpopular opinion, I also like them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I wrote Philip when the first one came out, because he actually asked me to design the cover because I'm a designer. And I said, yeah, I don't really have time and everything. And I don't know if I would have come up with anything even close to that. But I wrote him when the first one came out and I was like, they're really cool. I would have pushed it further. I would have pushed it even further. Like, it's got the typography sitting on top of the stained glass window. I would have integrated the typography into the stained glass. And also, like, something that stained glass does that cover doesn't is one piece of stained glass does not have a gradation in it, right? Because it's one piece of a single color, right? So I would have done it a lot more sort of fractured feeling, like with solid. I mean, it's got a gradation, right? It's like light yellow, orange around her head and going out to darker red around the edges. And I think I would have kept it more stained glass looking.
Yeah.
But overall, I love the idea.
Yeah,
and
it's
that
so different than
kind
basically every. I have not seen that anywhere else. That stained glass style.
Yeah.
What about this recent?
To Ron's point, I like them, but that's not how stained glass works. I think that's the summary.
Yeah, exactly.
What about this recent Tchaikovsky cover for a novella?
Ooh.
Yeah, that whole series. I as soon as I saw the first one, I forget what the first one's called, Revolutions or something like that.
Terrible Worlds, Revolutions.
Yeah, Terrible World. They're all called Terrible Worlds, and the first one's called Revolutions. That's the Hungry Gods. As soon as I saw Revolutions, I was like, oh, they didn't have any budget. they just look like really low budget. That one, however, because it's got the foil on it, I'm like, maybe the low budget look is intentional.
Well, so the Revolutions is a bind up of 3 novellas.
Yeah,
these are actually limited printed.
Oh, okay.
These are single novellas. So like Ogre's Saturation Point, or most of his novellas, I think, have been printed in this way.
My
actually,
library has those versions, and they're beautiful.
Yeah. I also like I love it when they do a design element on the naked hardcover. Like I really don't like when the expensive hardcover just comes with blank cardboard.
Yeah,
that doesn't ever do it. I love
that is nice. That is nice.
I love that they put that on the.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I asked you about this because I am not in love with the background. It's a little bit generic, like industrial kind of background, but I do like the way they have this main character in kind of silhouette of this. It gives you the sense, I think, of a lot of the main characters right here on the cover. And the reason
I thought it was one of the bind ups is the background, the very industrial looking background. That is the style of the bind up covers. It's very much like the style of the bind up covers.
Okay.
And the bind up covers look like somebody spent 10 minutes on them. To me.
Yep.
This is the bind up cover. Are you thinking of something else?
Oh no, I'm thinking of the Ogre's individual cover, which I hate. The individual cover of Ogre's is just so bad.
Oh,
that's awful.
Hold on.
That's right. Terrible Worlds is even cheaper. Yeah, it's just, oh man, it's so awful.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just bad. A big guy with a top hat and a helicopter, really? That's almost cool.
Yeah,
although I don't think there's a top hat in the entire book.
No, I don't think.
I don't remember a top hat, but yeah, just a horrible cover. I hate that cover. Ugh. And Terrible Worlds Revolutions is even worse. It's just a gradient. It's like they didn't even spend 5 minutes on it.
Not a thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, it's a big sun or something, I guess. I don't know. It's just orange on black.
A recent trend in special editions. This is Zamil Akhtar's. This is still wrapped in plastic. I haven't taken it out, but I love a recent trend of just going full art on the cover and not actually having the title.
Is it on?
I love letting the art. I love letting the art shine.
Does the spine have anything on it? Title?
Oh yeah. That has the title and the author's name.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, if it's a special edition,
yeah.
Nobody's going to be facing it on a shelf in a bookstore to sell it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Because you don't get special editions in almost any bookstores. So that makes sense. Otherwise, that would pretty much guarantee that no bookstore would ever carry your book.
Yeah.
Like not even having the title on the cover. Nobody wants that. Best covers are the Umpire of the Empire.
They're so good, and they
are nice covers.
Is so good.
Yeah, they are nice covers. That is true. I've not read the books yet, but
Matt, since I didn't continue the buddy read for Memory Star and Thorin because I took longer, I did eventually read this guy.
Okay. But
I ended up really loving the last 2 books, and I'm curious. Are you a fan of this cover?
The cover, that's one of the covers. It's interesting. I'm a big fan of Michael Whelan. Like everything he's ever done, I love Michael Whelan. I've always loved Michael Whelan, and probably like 7 of my 10 favorite ever book covers are Michael Whelan. That cover, I thought he did an interesting thing because he painted a painting that could be used on 2 different books.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting. I just don't like how it ends up actually looking on either of the books. It just feels very unbalanced, and the poses feel super unnatural to me. He's really hit or miss with poses, and like kneeling on one knee, holding up your shield and holding a sword on your shoulder, it just looks insanely uncomfortable. That nobody would ever do that, and there's no reason to do that. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
And the way they're looking at us, it does feel very posed. You're
yeah,
right
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like some of his books. Like, one of my favorites is his Stormbringer cover. And he actually posed for it. I saw an interview with him where he actually showed some photos that someone, I guess his wife or someone, made of him standing in the backyard holding up a big stick over his head. That cover. And that, to me, like the facial expression, the colors, everything, that captures the weirdly sort of necrotic, extremely unhealthy feeling of Elric. He's a drug addicted sorcerer who deals mostly with demons. He's not a healthy guy, and a lot of his strength comes from drugs, and the rest comes from a sword that drinks people's souls. So
I go.
See you, Jared. Thanks for coming.
You all.
Good to see you, man. And in that one,
I didn't know that was Whalen. Yeah, that's a really great cover. I love that's the green.
That's like a mid action kind of pose, and it looks
natural,
believable to me. It kind of makes sense for what's going on. But those,
I'm trying to think
the Green Angel Tower ones, they're just so.
Whatever happened to the Whalen covers for the Farseer trilogy? Like, why did they get supplanted by those goofy?
Because they're not good.
But the new ones aren't any good either, though.
No, but they started being John Howe covers, and those I loved those covers so much.
Oh, is that like the Tawny Man ones?
The Farseer, the original Farseer covers were John Howe.
Oh wait, those aren't Whalen ones? Oh, I thought that was
Whalen. No, Whalen did some covers for those, but they were not very good.
Oh, I thought the one with with Night Eyes for Royal Assassin. I thought that was Whalen. Oh,
yes.
The one with Night Eyes and
that is Whalen. John Howe covers.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, because these were.
You're thinking of like Assassin's Apprentice, where it's like little.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one where Fitz is standing there and he's wearing like a white robe for some reason, and Night Eyes is at his feet.
Faithful Hound. Yes.
Yeah. That one, it's
the Paul Rudd cover.
Britain, what the fuck are you talking about?
There's hair there.
I have had a shaved head every time you have ever seen me. Every single time you have ever seen me. My head was like this, or like maybe a millimeter longer.
Maybe he just noticed.
Yes,
those are the ones you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, these are the Whalen ones. I really like these compared to the newer ones. I have never seen the one that Derry showed.
I don't like those
really,
much.
really old. Those are
very old.
Fine on her. She's an a very old edition.
Oh, wow. I'm not. The Assassin's Apprentice just feels a little static and weak.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't show you my.
It's extremely static and like there's just nothing happening.
Assassins.
It's super boring.
But I mean, I really love the color scheme here of this.
It's a nice color scheme, but yeah.
But I mean, look at the pose. This is not a pose Fitz is ever going to make.
He looks far too happy.
No.
Can't be Fitz.
So, but yeah, and thankfully though, the art for the John Howe covers are on John Howe's website. So if you go there and look at his book covers, you can see the art that he did.
I should check that out. I would love to see some new Farseer art.
Absolutely exquisite.
When you say newish, Ida, do you mean the British ones, like the ones that I have? The ones that are behind Derry?
A little bit of foiling.
Yeah. little bit of foil and a little. They look like they're parchment and have very little illustration. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the John Howe covers of Farseer that winked at me from the shelves back in the day. They were like, "I look good. Come and explore what my story says." Like,
it's the same with me, Bex. I used to, when I was in university, I had hair down to here, and a long beard, and it hasn't been that way in a long time. I haven't had hair longer than about maybe 6 millimeters in 15, 20 years. I'm not sure.
Good to see you, Bex. And yeah, a lot of people
exactly.
notice that I've cut. It sounds ridiculous. I mean, I've got no hair, and yet because when I had very long hair, I only ever tied it up in a ponytail or plaited it, and it was always pulled back from my face. People don't notice that my hair is this short until suddenly they go, "Oh my God, you've cut your hair." I'm like, "Yeah, a long time ago."
Long time ago. It's always been this.
Oddly, I now have more hair around my face.
Yes, but yes, Ida, those are my favorites actually, and I do this sometimes where I'm like, because covers come and go, you know, like the next edition will probably have different covers. So when I decided I wanted to reread Realm of the Elderlings, I bought all 16 of them to make sure I had these covers. Yeah, exactly. I like those a lot. Yeah. I like the calligraphic treatment is very sweet. I love the subtle foiling. And the little illustrations are also nice. Yeah.
Just highlights it. It's pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're also nicer to read from than like the mass markets. Also,
those are awful covers.
This was not how I imagined Althea, by the way.
Go to John Howe's website.
Those are awful.
Look at his covers.
Who is that? Is that
Brashen?
That's Brashen, of course.
This is such a.
I think they were trying to appeal to the fantasy romance people or something. Those covers are awful. I hate them. I hate them. Hate them.
Go and see John Howe's art for life ships. It is exquisite.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Were those non-US editions? I'm guessing.
I'm not sure. It could just have been that first printing that got those covers. I don't know, but they're just so beautiful, so beautiful. And I did used to have them, but I don't anymore.
Britain, I did not have a fine mane of hair. The reason I eventually cut it is my hair. I could almost be a Native American. My hair is like so straight. It's just like if I grow long hair, it just hangs and does nothing. And I hated it. It got in my hair, it got in my face all the time, got in my mouth, filled up the drain in my shower. I hated it.
Visualizing Nigel Hill from the young ones.
Pretty much, yeah. It was but black. Yeah. Just totally black, and it just hung down, and I just didn't like it. I wanted to try it, and I decided nope. And a friend of mine said, I said I wanted to shave my head, and a friend of mine said, well, you know, a lot of people have really bad heads for that. I was like, yep, there's only one way to find out. So I shaved it, and I was like, I've got an okay head for shaved. It works. I don't mind it.
See what your head looks like with no hair, and you're like, oh, that's what I look like.
Yeah, exactly. Makes your eyes bigger.
Speaking of Hob, wasn't it very exciting from Dragonsteel to learn that she's like a good way through like multiple different drafts of books she has in the pipeline? Like
when Jake put in
so exciting.
Honest to God, just about lost my shit. I was like, I'd taken a dose of speed or something. I was bouncing off the walls. I was like, for like 2 days. This is insane. You have to calm down.
Oh my God, I can't. I'm
thinking about it. I'm so excited.
That would just be so wonderful to get more in the Elderlings world. Man, but she's such a fascinating author. Like, she's not gonna force it. Like, she's like ultra organic in how she lets like the stories play out and the characters kind of make their own decisions. Like, she doesn't like try to force things. Like, she doesn't have like this exact plot outline, and then she just needs to write to that. It's like like that's why she's stalled out on a lot of these books where it's like she had
a whole set of books just about ready to go, and then the pandemic happened, and a lot of her arc was about that sort of sweeping illness across the thing, and she was like, "This is no."
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Time for this story, and so we have lost whatever that story was.
Oh wow, but, did not know that.
I follow her on Facebook. And it seems like it would be a publicist or something that does it. And in terms of interactions, yes, you're not getting Robin Hobb, but she will post short clips from her farm. She's got like a little wee homestead. And at the moment, yesterday, day before, she just posted a quick shot of the geese. She's like, okay, they're off for the winter, and those are the sort of things she posts. She's really in tune with the world around her. She posts things like a creek that she was fishing in because there was sand, and she was like, and of course now I've started filming, there's no fish, but they were here. I don't know, it gives me a really lovely sense of her as a person. Like,
I just wish she would stop writing Elderlings books, because it's going to ruin my collection. They're surely not going to have the same covers, and some idiot publisher is going to put them out and they're going to be like 2 centimeters taller than the other ones as well. It's going to be horrible.
To moan about non-matching covers.
Yes.
For as many stories as she wants to give us, I will argue about the covers not matching. I want to be able to have that argument.
I am obviously kidding. I am super happy to read more Robin Hobb. I still need to finish the last trilogy.
I know, I'm waiting for you.
Yeah.
Oh wait, did you start it? Did you start it at some point?
I haven't started it, no. I basically decided, because it had been so long, I was reading them as they came out. So like I read Farseer when there was nothing else.
Yeah.
Like a bazillion years ago. And then Live Ships was all out, and I read Farseer again, and then Live Ships, and then like just piecemeal over the years. And I decided, okay, I'll go and buy all of these nice matching covers. I'll reread all of them. And over the last year and a half or 2 years, I've read all of them except the last trilogy, which is the only one I've never read. So I need to start on that.
Ooh. My pestering timetable frees up after New Year. So I'll be on that.
Cool.
For sure.
No, Thornall, I haven't read any BPRD this week. Sorry.
Have you read any BPRD this week? Have you tried reading BPD?
I haven't even tried reading BPRD.
Will you try reading BPRD
next week? No, probably not.
BPRD, what's that?
BPRD is the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense. It is the organization that Hellboy belongs to. And there are the Hellboy comics, which are about this many. And then there are a separate group, which are just BPRD with and without Hellboy, which are about twice as many. And there are many, many of them. And I have only one bind up and one sort of side thing. So yeah, I haven't. Sorry, Thornall.
I know Matt started Berkuskin, but Derry or Evie, have either of you tried any Berkuskin by Bujold?
I have not, but oddly enough, I did find a copy at a local used bookstore of Merdan.
Ooh,
nice!
It's a great one. It's a great one.
You've only got a number of books before that,
right?
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was like, you know what? Whatever. It's like it was like $5. Like it was.
I have a copy of The Crippled God because one day I will be up to there and I will want to read it.
Sure.
And it was $2 in an op shop in beautiful condition, so of course.
Sure.
So
I do have Curse of Chalion. That's my planned start for Bujold.
I'm curious if Derry, did you catch Jake's video about like how Dresden and Bujold are similar?
Clearly.
But I do think Berkuskin, I mean, for people who love just long running series like that, man, it's really special.
Vorkosigan is kind of Tyrion Lannister in space.
Okay.
Was my feeling. Because the main character, Miles Vorkosigan, is kind of a dwarf, and he's kind of a little like physically not super fit and he, you know, but he's very, very smart. The main thing is he's smart.
Very witty, but it's such a wonderful series. I got to try her fantasy now that I've exhausted the 20
fantasy's good
stories.
Her fantasy's good. Curse of Chalion and those books are great. The
it's so highly of it.
what's the other series?
She has a Sharing Knife series.
Yeah, but there's another series of relatively Penric
and Desdemona.
Penric and Desdemona. Those are weird.
What is it? War of the Five Worlds or something? I have those.
Those are weird.
That's the overarching series where the Penric and the Chalion and Paladin of Souls and
except that Chalion and Paladin of Souls and all that feel quite serious, and the Penric ones feel almost comedy. They feel very light. They've got a very sort of fairy tale-ish feeling to them. And Penric is kind of a loser who can't really do much right and gets it like mixed up in messy situations and stuff. Whereas
like a buddy cops type situation, but kind of.
Yeah, it's just a much lighter.
This
doesn't feel connected to Chalion to me at all.
Since I joined BookTube, and I just haven't got there. And I clearly really need to hurry up and get there, because I have literally had this big, as an author, Bujold's been recommended to me since, I think, even before I started my channel, and I was just in Discords. So
I think she's very comparable to Hob in a lot of ways. Like, it feels like she has a similar overall humane sensibility and values, and is just a magician when it comes to crafting organic feeling real life, like characters who feel super real, whether it's the POVs or the side characters. They just feel so nuanced and complex and vivid, even if they just have a little bit of page time.
And a lot of character focus, just in general.
Yeah. These are all things that tickle my brain.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I clearly need to prioritize this.
Oh, Derry, going back to Hob, I did successfully, at least I assume successfully, recommend Assassin's Apprentice to someone at the bookstore the other day, because there was one less copy when I went around Assassin's Apprentice. So
good job.
Doing God's work.
True. Absolutely.
Praise Hob.
I've had difficulty. I've like thought about doing a reread of Assassin's Apprentice, but I've had difficulty. I tried it once and it was like, oh my god, this is so dark and grim and sad to be with Fitz at this moment in time. Like, it's so grim. Like the situation of him at the castle, where he's being bullied by so many different people and
basically everyone.
Yeah, and it's harder when you know how much of it is politics, and kind of that this is coming from everywhere for reasons that this child has absolutely no control over. It's really tragic to read it.
Although, like on the flip side, like also none of it's really personal. Like, it's not about him.
And it just makes it really hard to read, because you're like, oh, honey. And you're watching all of the things that create his mental issues. You're watching that being formed. You're watching all of those social anxieties and the pressures that he puts on himself. You're watching all of that get built, that framework of trauma. And it's really hard to read when you know where it goes. You're like, oh, none of it be that way.
I remember when I finished Realm of the Elderlings, I finished Willful Princess and the Piebald Prince, because I read that after I finished the entire series. And I was like, I need to get back to Fitz. I want to get back to this, because like I can't not be in this world anymore. And I started to read like literally like 2 pages, not even 2 pages into
I remember you went,
I was sobbing. Like, I'm like, just because I'm like, I know where this boy is going to go and what he's going to go through. I'm like, this is so sad.
But then there's the joy of, like, you know, I feel like one of the highlights would be, you know, seeing Fitz being fathered by Burrich when he's, you know, young. Like, like there would be certain.
I did wind up rereading it, and it was such a.
There are moments you're just lapping up, and you're like, oh, this is so good. And then there are moments when you, like chapter 2, you know, famously, we get massively traumatized with the loss of his puppy. And you watch that form in his head because he assumes wrongly about the person who separates him from his puppy, and it alters that relationship completely. And you see it happen, and you're like, and you were wrong, and you got entirely the wrong person,
even though it was obviously there.
Yeah, and it's just heartbreaking to read because it wasn't explained what actually happened to this child. And so that misunderstanding creates such a fundamental closure of his emotions that you're like, oh, that's still playing out in the last
That's
book.
also possibly the most realistic part of her writing, is almost everything to do with relationships between people in her writing. Almost all the relationships are based on misunderstandings.
Yeah.
You know, like at the heart of almost every relationship is a tragic misunderstanding where somebody should have said something and they didn't, or they said the wrong thing, or they weren't in the right place at the right time, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
And everyone says that they hate the miscommunication trope, but that's in literally everything.
Oh yeah, no one can communicate accurately to anyone. That's the issue with communication. But the fact that she is writing that first book and it is dark and grim, and you're like, oh, we're watching this child be bullied, and it's all of these things. The quality of that setup is that for every idiot decision that Fitz then makes, because he makes a lot of idiotic decisions, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know why. You know exactly why he makes these foolish decisions and why he makes choices that are just so dumb, because
he's been programmed to do dumb shit.
And it's so good. You watch the triggers in him being built. Yeah. And then later when he's triggered, you're like, yeah, of course he's going to react like that, because all of these things in these earlier books happened.
Absolutely.
And it's so believable. All of the things he does are believable, even when they're outrageously stupid or just crazy courageous. None of his behavior comes out of nowhere.
No.
Ever.
How do we feel about a sprint?
Good plan.
Maybe until 1:15.
Good.
Get to meet the best baddie.
So let's all have a bit of a read for about half an hour. If you're on screen, turn your microphone off, please. And everybody enjoy your reading.
Enjoy.
Hello.
Hello.
Derry apparently has wind problems.
More like window problems.
Yeah. Wind against the window problems. Oops.
No.
Bad timing. Hope it is easily solved. Derry. How's everybody's reading?
I have just over 1 hour left of this book / audiobook because I'm immersion reading it.
Ah. And it's still
very
3-star-ish.
Yeah.
Okay. Good on you, Mitch. Someone reading Rise of Endymion. That makes me happy. Yeah, the Endymion books, people always seem to be down on them because they are not Hyperion. And Hyperion is awesome. And personally, I think Endymion is also pretty damn good. Do I want to finish the whole of Sun Eater? I have read the whole of Sun Eater. I mean, I haven't read all of the short stories, but I read the novellas. I read all of the novels. Has a new one come out?
New one's come out in November. Next month.
Yeah, exactly. It's not out yet. I will probably read it. I found Sun Eater very inconsistent.
I'm just doing the short stories right now, just finishing up.
Yeah, I didn't want to get into the short stories. But I did read the novellas, and there's a lot of stuff I enjoyed about Sun Eater, but I didn't find it like consistently good. There were bits of it where I was like, yeah, this is a bit dragging, and then it would get into better stuff. And I found the sort of, I don't know, tone or mood kind of the different books was quite different in some cases. And there were some of them that I really loved the mood and the way it was going. And there were others where I was like, this is not so enjoyable, just kind of inconsistent. Overall, my impression was good. I mean, I read the whole thing in like 6 weeks, all of it, everything, except the short stories. But I came away thinking, yeah, that was kind of an up and down series. So
very fair. The books are very different from each other.
Yeah.
It's Howling Dark's one of my least favorite, but for a lot of people, it's among their favorite books. But yeah, the feel of Demon White's so different, Kingdom of Death's so different, Ashes of Man, Disquiet Gods. It's interesting because they do have a different feel, each of them.
Yeah. I think probably Demon in White was my favorite, and Kingdoms of Death maybe my least favorite. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I came away with it thinking that was good fun overall, but not super in love with it. Like glad I read it, but not in a rush to read anymore. And
I super love the audios, like Samuel Raukin.
Okay, I didn't listen to any of them.
Oh, he's just I did it mostly in audio. Actually, the both times I've done it, it's been mostly audio, and it's just, man, Raukin is just the perfect first-person Hadrian narrator.
Okay.
It's so just easy for me to listen to hours of that on end.
Yeah, it's funny because I've read a number of books and really liked a number of books with a relatively unlikable first-person character. And I put Hadrian in that category. He's kind of a dick. And he's just constantly reminding you how melodramatic he is, which in itself is melodramatic. And yeah, I had a lot of points where I was like, I am kind of over this Hadrian dude. I'm really kind of sick of him. having a good narrator could probably add more to that and give you more of a, maybe more of a attached or sympathetic feeling towards him. Yeah.
I think that's the case with Sun Eater for me. Even on this reread of it all, some of the melodramatic bits of Hadrian just going on his internal monologue, or whether it's like the monologue from the kind of present day narrative, like flashback sort of thing, or from his future self, writing it down. Like, it was a little much for me when I was binging it all this time on occasion, but Raukin, I think, does temper that. He has a very nuanced, sophisticated narrating style, and
Okay.
I think it really works to temper some of that of Hadrian's negative qualities.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like, if I think of not necessarily super sympathetic first-person narrators, I would count Fitz as one. Like, Fitz is also tiring as fuck sometimes.
Mhm.
Like, he's just, I don't know how many times I facepalmed when reading about Fitz. It's just like, dude, like, I can't think of a dumber thing you could have done. Could you just be a little smarter? He does a lot of stupid shit. Tiring. Severian in Book of the New Sun is like sometimes so unbelievably arrogant, and he acts pretty weird towards women. So he's not super sympathetic as a first person narrator. Corwin from the Chronicles of Amber is also, I mean, he's kind of a snake and just scheming all the time and trying to be tricky and all this sort of stuff and backstabbing his own family and stuff like that. Also not that sympathetic. But for example, I'd have to really think about what it is that makes the difference. But so many points, things going on with Hadrian, I didn't care. I just didn't care about what happened to him. It's like, first of all, I know that you're gonna, because he tells you in the first page, he's gonna live to be someone who commits a genocide against an entire alien race. And I don't know. I had such a hard time actually caring about him. Whereas I super cared about Fitz all the time. Even though, I mean, maybe it's because you see him grow up as a kid and you see how hard a childhood he has, and you end up feeling sorry for him, and sympathizing with him in that way. But like, I cared about what happens to Fitz. When bad things happen to Fitz, I was hurt,
Yeah.
When good things happen to Fitz, I shared the joy. And with Hadrian, I'm just like, first of all, you act like you're the god of the world and you're a bit of an asshole. And secondly, I know that you're going to end up being maybe the biggest criminal ever.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I think there's
Fitz agrees,
a certain
by the way,
likability.
What's that?
Yeah, Fitz agrees with your assessment. I heard her meowing in the background.
She's like, yeah. Tell him about Hadrian.
I think there's a real likability to Fitz's internal monologue, or when he's doing the retrospective narrating. Like, he's very humble. He's admitting when he's trying to figure stuff out, and when he doesn't. Like, a lot of the frustrations are from him making kind of dumb in the moment decisions. But I think there's so much likability to him throughout. Although I will say, one of the highlights of getting an somewhat older Fitz in the last trilogy is, I think, through a lot of it, he's a little bit wiser, a little bit smarter in a lot of his decision making. You'll still get a bunch of those facepalm moments, but I think one of the fun things is, like, there's some growth.
Even in 20 Man, he was already old enough that you could see that he was it didn't necessarily always know better, but like, he was looking back on himself a lot and going, face palming himself. He had obviously grown up a bit, learned some of the wrong lessons, but he had grown up a bit and was looking at his younger self and realizing what an idiot he had been already. So I'm looking forward to the last one. Fitz fails to the top. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I like Sun Eater hit me at a certain time when I was just in the right mood, and I just raced through the whole thing and took it kind of as a space opera adventure mostly. But thinking back on it now, I'm like, yeah, main character's kind of a dick. I don't really miss him. Like I miss Fitz. I'm looking forward to getting to the the last trilogy. I don't miss Hadrian at all, really. He never really won me.
I mean, to be fair, I've never read Sun Eater. I have no interest in reading Sun Eater, to be honest. But from a reader's perspective, it takes a lot of craft and balance to, like, you can write a despicable character and still make them compelling, like Kenneth, for example.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Hadrian is not.
Well, no, he's not even written with the intention of him being despicable. He's written overall to be a kind of moral exemplar and hero who has to make tough decisions because they're ultimately, the right decision, and it's
that is good.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard him described as being like. I've heard Hadrian described as basically, what if Darth Vader won and didn't go to the light side or something like that.
Yeah, that's like a tagline for like Empire of Silence, but it's kind of like really false advertising for the what Rocky is.
I totally wouldn't describe. I mean, he's not a clear bad guy, like, ever. Like the whole thing is leading up to him.
Yeah.
I mean, the series is called Sun Eater, and he says it on the first page. He destroys the sun, which destroys most of an alien race. At some point, we haven't gotten there yet.
But Rockio even setting it up.
About
Rockio setting it up like that is very melodramatic because he sets it up like he did this horrible thing, but then you come to realize it's this brutal war that humanity is involved in with the Cielson race. It's
basically dropping the bombs on Japan. That is the situation.
But Rockio removes even a lot of the moral quandaries around that. Like over the course of the series, he very much kind of lays it out there that Hadrian's in the right with this decision to do this at the end. So there's I think where the series really works great for most people is when they can fully kind of be on Hadrian's side and really love him. And like I said, I do think doing the audio actually helped me kind of just really go along with the ride for Hadrian. And
Dan kind of disagrees. Says in Empires of Death, Hadrian's even more dramatic and pompous in audio.
I mean, I think you could easily go that way, but I find hearing the audio, especially of first person narration, it just gives you that extra immersion into the character. And so hearing him say some of these things out loud, I think you could easily, where you could kind of go quickly through it in print, and you don't have to perform it all out when you're reading it in print. But
I think also one of the differences, like you mentioned, Kenneth, Evie. I mean, first of all, Kenneth is a straight up villain. Like, he's got his motivations, he's got his reasons for why he is like he is, but he is a straight up villain. He doesn't do anything good for anyone except himself ever. Mm-hmm. But he is very compelling, but I think he would also be really hard to read as a first person narrative, and that's it. Like, if the whole trilogy was just Kenneth's first person narrative, I think that would get very tiring. And Hadrian isn't a straight up villain, not at all, but he's just he just doesn't have a particularly likable personality. I find, you know, he grates on me. I find him kind of tiring, because he's a bit of a Mary Sue. You know, there are bits in the story where he gets like a power up. And you're like, oh, okay, so now you can solve every problem with no problem. Okay. And then he gets another power up and another power up. And,
I mean, part of the issue, I think, which is going on is that this is a character and a whole like series that Rakio was brainstorming and envisioning from a young age, like as a kid, as he's like dreaming up this whole story from when he's a kid, and then he writes book one, you know, in college, and so like this is the vision of an immature Rakio, and I think there's a good amount of kind of the heroic kind of like wish fulfillment of putting yourself in kind of, you know, this.
He's one of those authors where I'm like, okay, you're off to a pretty good start, and I think your next series is probably going to be awesome. You know, and he got maybe dangerously too much recognition for his first work. Like, I think it's actually not bad for an author to like live in obscurity for a little while. And he's become this sort of booktube anyway, darling, but he's also been selling out of his books, you know, and doing like extremely well for a young author.
I mean, there aren't that many in terms of like trad publishing current giant epic series. Like there's Stormlight, Sun Eater. Like there's not many. There's, you know, a lot in the self-pub space, but like there really aren't that many in trad. It's so much like trilogies that they're doing. You know, Tor and Orbit. And I think a large part of the fandom in SFF loves like larger epic scope,
likes
like
just
giant
having
chunkers.
A
like,
big ongoing series.
And so like, you know, Red Rising also was really popular, is doing a similar thing, but then he started like not publishing books as quickly anymore, and that's when Rakio really took off, where like people are discovering who like this kind of sci fantasy thing. I think there's a hunger for these kinds of, you know, epic space opera kinds of stories.
Like I said, I think when he has a bit more practice and matures a bit more, I think his next big series, whatever it might be, will be really, really good. And I agree with Dan. I enjoyed the world building quite a lot, and the politics and action. Just very hard to like Hadrian. And if I don't enjoy spending time with the main character in a book, I have a hard time. That's why I DNF'd Prince of Thorns. I realized what Mark Lawrence was doing there. I just didn't enjoy it. It just wasn't good for me.
Yeah, I'm the same. I tried that one. I'm similar, I guess. If you're just like,
couldn't do it.
When I read, and maybe you both are somewhat similar, I think, in this is I'm not like reading from a distance, like analyzing this. I'm like inhabiting that character's body, mind, kind of like living through their actions. Like it's a really intense kind of.
I'd more say I feel like I'm one of his friends traveling with him. I'm a perspective right next to him, and like I'm still conscious, like I'm still thinking me, but I feel like I'm there. And if this is a person I don't want to spend time with, like Yerk from Prince of Thorns, like if I met him, the only interaction I would have with him is probably slap him and then leave. You know, like that would be about all he would get from me, because I would talk to him for 15 minutes, figure out he's an arrogant little shit, and I would leave. And I'd maybe give him a slap because he needs it. Nothing else. And then in the book, I'm the same. I'm like, oh, I'm meant to spend how many pages with this annoying person? I'm not going to do that. No, thank you.
Yeah, Hob was doing that to me with Ship of Magic, but in a way that I still found like I wanted to keep going. I was so hooked.
Kenneth is fascinating.
Kenneth, Malta, Althea, like she was doing a lot of things to make these characters unlikable.
Yeah.
And there's so much payoff for all of that. But she
Although
was doing it in a way where it's
what I think she does really well with her villains, like the big, like Malta is annoying, Althea can be annoying, whatever, but the real villains are Kyle and Kenneth.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I think that makes Kyle and Kenneth both kind of fascinating and makes you not want to stop reading about them is the people around them. Like the effect that they're having on other people. And I'm not reading because I want Kyle to win, or even because I think Kyle is ever going to develop himself in any way. I want to see the characters around him.
Yeah, like will his family realize
triumph?
Will his family realize he's a horrible person?
Yeah.
Will Kenneth's lieutenants realize? And yeah, Hobb does interesting things with both arcs of making them very different in terms of where they go and the effect they have on those around them in the world. And they're interesting foils. I never even thought of it that way until just now.
It's the whole cast is relevant all the time, so Althea is doing stupid shit and it's affecting her sisters, it's affecting her mother, it's affecting her ship and the crew, and and then Kyle the same, Kenneth the same, and you want to see Kyle and Kenneth eventually get what they deserve. You want to see the people around them triumph over them, or at least get free of them somehow,
It's like Hobb writes realistic, complex characters or something.
It's crazy. It's kind of like she does. And not only, that's part of the, I mean, like I said, Hadrian's not a villain, but my feeling with Hadrian was a bit sometimes like everything was about Hadrian. And there were people around him, but they weren't really that relevant or important.
Yeah.
And
very absorbed. Yeah.
And that to me doesn't feel realistic. Like the way Hobb writes is much more realistic. Like everything with Hobb is like this web of this network of characters. And they're all
I think it's realistic
connected.
For some people though. Like for some very self-absorbed,
in a first person narrative, it's realistic because you're just getting his view of things. Yeah. And that I think some people thinking like that is realistic. Yeah.
But he went with his non-Hadrian POV stories like Lesser Devil, Dregs of Empire, a lot of the short stories, like you might read the whole series and be like, Octavia Corvo is like this side character who's around Hadrian a lot, but very little page time. You don't get a good sense for the personality, the character.
Yeah.
And like Hadrian mentions her a lot, but like she's pretty flat on the page in the novels. But then you read the one short story from her POV and like, boom, he brings her to vivid life. Like there's so much going on under the surface.
Who was the guy? I forget his name. The guy who's in Dregs of Empire.
Lorien.
I loved Dregs of Empire. I thought that was a really cool novella. And it made me care about Lorien a lot more.
Yeah.
But in the stories.
Did we lose Matt?
I think we did.
Prison.
I thought it was just me.
No,
well,
he's frozen. His internet's still working because the stream is still going.
Well, no, the stream will still keep going because it's on a browser, so it'll keep going until he logs back in and turns it off. So,
Evie, have you met Hobb, by the way?
I have not. No, I am too terrified to get on a plane to go out to anywhere. So,
Dragonsteel, yeah, she does like the Northwestern events.
Yeah. Like last year, I was this close to buying a ticket to Emerald City Comic Con. But I was like, I can't get on a plane. Like,
flying is no fun. It's no fun.
I'm terrified of flying.
You could take the they do those Amtrak trains that go all the way across the country.
But that would take like 2 weeks or something, I think, right?
I did it once to go from Chicago, well, all the way from New Jersey to Chicago first, and then from Chicago, you can take the one that goes like straight west to like the San Francisco area, or the one that's southwest that goes to like Arizona, New Mexico, and Los Angeles. I did that one to go to the Grand Canyon because my mom is afraid of flying, and so we did the. It's like from Chicago. Like, I mean, it's an overnight one from New Jersey to Chicago, so that took a while, and then was it 2 nights? I think it was 2 nights. Yeah, 2 nights that we spent on the one from Chicago to Arizona.
Nice.
And it's fun. I love train travel. I like the whole deal.
I love being on train. Well, I've been on the Amtrak from like Worcester to Boston, so it's not really a train. But I like my dream is to do like one of those cross country train things. So yes, Matt did just send me a message. He's like, obviously he lost connection. He wanted to close the pub soon, anyways. So on his behalf, goodbye. But we can't turn this off, so I don't know what you plan on doing, Matt.
That's hilarious that he lost connection and the stream's still living. That is hilarious.
All right, I was gonna say we're gonna disconnect the stream, but
I was gonna ask if you might help because she was so interesting in person, and even if you watch like her speak in panels on YouTube, like she has such a interesting, unique vibe that her like she almost felt to me like when I met her like an elevated being, like just not one of the normal people. Like she just has it's so unique, like the way her brain works, how she operates as a writer, like how she
I was watching like little videos or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. So Matt messaged me. He's like, yeah, if you just log out, he'll end the stream. So
he can end it. Okay,
but
I will stay warm.
Yep, I'm gonna be. Apparently, it's a freaking cold now. Thank you, New England fall / almost winter weather. So I'm going to be making myself some soup and some hot cocoa, and I will be cracking out the rest of this book. That is a 3-star experience. So.
Yeah, get it over with. Get it behind you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Nice to see you, Ben.
See ya.
Bye.